This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
This season, let your shoes do the talking. Designer Shoe Warehouse is packed with fresh styles that speak to your whole vibe without saying a word. From cool sneakers that look good with everything, to easy sandals you'll want to wear on repeat, DSW has you covered. Find a shoe for every you from the brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, New Balance, and more. Head to your DSW store or visit DSW.com today.
Well, what's a good-looking guy like you doing in a place like this? I cracked him. Cracking the complicated for profit. This is 9 to noon at FM. I hope your dad's listening, and I hope your coworkers are listening.
Probably.
Cracking the complicated for profit for more than a quarter century. This is the Love Covenant at FM 100.3 KFAN. Ben Goessling covers the Minnesota Vikings for the Star Tribune, StarTribune.com. We have Excess Vikings. That's the name of the podcast, right?
Yes.
We have the newsletter.
Yep.
We're just a few days from the newsletter. And I'm just, really just sitting back here wondering what a good-looking guy like you is doing in a place like this. Welcome to the fan, man. Good to see you again, Ben.
Good to see you.
That's
good
Paul
to see
Allen.
you. Good to be here.
Yep, excellent. Good. How was practice yesterday?
Practice was good. The defense was particularly in command, I would say, through the course of the day. The pass rush was awfully effective, really through kind of every iteration of it, but kind of ended with Dallas Turner sacking J.J. McCarthy. He had a couple of them in there. Actually, Jonathan Grenard had the last sack. Dallas Turner had a couple throughout the day, but the pass rush was probably the story of the day yesterday.
Now, do you happen to recall in the early stages of young Dallas Turner's rookie training camp?
Yeah.
Like, did he splash? I mean, were people talking about him a little bit? Because, we got a lot of people on Dallas Turner's jock right now.
Yeah, I remember Christian Darrisaw said something about he had a spin move that was better than Danielle Hunter's, or at least as good as Danielle Hunter's. That was kind of the thing early, but, you saw the speed. You saw, I think, some of it in that first preseason game, if I recall, last year as well, but not quite like this. This has... It's kind of the typical story of what you see from a guy coming out of his first year. Very clearly spent a lot of time getting bigger. Definitely spent time in the weight room. Looks quite a bit different than he did last year. And everybody kind of goes through this where that first off season is getting ready for the draft. It's going to interviews, the combine, all the workouts. You're not really getting time to prepare for football until, pretty much May. So the fact that he had the time this year, you see this happen all the time, and he has, I think, made good use of his time, as it appears, and they have a lot more packages, I think, with the first team that are going to have him and Grenard and Van Ginkel in there together. I don't think we saw this type of a start for him last year, or at least not in this type of utilization, but what we've seen so far, and again, it's training camp, it's not a game, you got to, offer that caveat, but overall, he's been impressive to this point.
Eric Nordquist, producer of 9 to Noon, had a Dallas Turner-related bite during Bikes Bites.
Yeah.
That, sure, I could have answered and probably could have spent 5 minutes on it, but some of it would have been foolhardy because I was not at practice yesterday, and I'm not there as much as you.
Sure.
So therefore, I felt it was best to leave this question for the scribe, whose appearances 9 to noon are and will be provided by Standard Heating and Air.
Well, I guess you kind of already answered it, Ben. I mean, that was really, so I played, I'll just play the audio. It's about 10 seconds.
Well, you're under the belt, you just have more experience. You kind of know what to expect, especially under the same coaching staff, a lot of the same guys. It's just, you kind of just know what to expect. You're a little step ahead, and, the anticipation's just a little better.
Well, then allow me to amplify it. With Van Ginkel and Grenard, where does he play?
Well, I mean, we've seen a few packages with all of them to this point. I think he will play probably in some rotational roles. I mean, you probably want to have both those guys. You don't want them on the field less because they're not effective, but you want to keep them fresher later into the season as best you can. So I think we'll see him move around. He actually had one yesterday, too, where he just about jumped the screen pass a la Van Ginkel because he saw it coming, was able to recognize it. So it's like, if you have a couple of guys that are able to do that.
But are we sure he didn't get lucky?
Well, maybe.
I mean
we'll have to
with
see
all due respect to Dallas, simply because I don't want to diminish what goes into Van Ginkel doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've talked to him about a lot of things. Rock Valley go crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe if you haven't chatted with him about, I don't even know how much he would share about what goes into this route jumping.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an A, B, C, D, and E with there needs to be a receiver to the left.
Yeah.
Like say he's on the left, the left side of the defense. There just need to be a lot of things happening.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with Van Ginkel
Dallas
too,
might have gotten lucky.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, we'll see if time holds that up or if he gets another one of these over the course of it. But you're right, with Van Ginkel, a lot of it is, he played quarterback in high school.
Oh wow!
So some of that I talked to his high school coach when I was down in Rock Valley last fall, and he said some of that was, it gets the ball in the hand of your best player more often, and they knew that he was going to give them the best chance to win, so they put the ball in his hands a lot. But it does, I think, give him a little more of that thought process of, this is how a quarterback thinks, this is what route combinations are going to mean, this is what spacing means. I can use those cues to see what's coming in more of an effective fashion than probably you see a lot of defensive players do, because he has played that side of the ball. So there is that level of detail in his game that, you're right, it is something that is hard to replicate. I remember talking to Harrison Smith about this last year and saying, how many guys do you see do what he does in terms of being able to jump routes like that? And he said, I'm trying to think of one, but I'm not having one come to my mind terribly easily. And that's a guy that has played a lot of football at a very high level in this league. And if he's saying, I don't see this very often, you're right. It is good to assume that is rare and it's not just going to be replicated every day. But if they did, maybe he's learned some things from Van Ginkel, picking his brain a little bit too. If he is capable of doing that kind of thing every once in a while, and we've seen a couple of routes where he's dropping out into coverage too. So they are, I think, capitalizing on his speed, his athleticism, and, he's probably picking up a few things throughout the course of just watching guys like Grenard, like Van Ginkel, that know the game as well as they do. I think he's learning from them as well.
Was that the Lions game last year, maybe without Cashman, where he actually lined up as he was in that second level there as a linebacker on a fair number of snaps in that game, wasn't? I don't think. Yeah, you're
right, but fair number would be the incorrect portion of the equation. I believe it took Ben Johnson about 4 plays to figure out. Yeah, I see what you're doing in there with him. Well, Dallas didn't play inside the rest of the season.
So Flores just trying to find any way possible to maybe make something click with the rookie a year ago, and maybe it sounds like some things at least have clicked into year 2, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Are you stuffed up? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
How are you handling the heat?
I'm excited to see the drop in temperatures coming. Yes, it's been fine. It's been better. Shout out Vikings PR. They put up a tarp so that we're not baking in the sun quite as much as we have in the past. So
really, bonk leaves, they start making plays.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Or maybe it was Carly before she left and got the setup.
No, I don't know. It was Sammy Mooney's idea for a year. They just suppressed her.
Very possible. Who knows? Now she's getting a chance. She was blocked before. Now she's getting a chance to play.
She was on the PR practice squad.
Yeah. you get your opportunity when somebody leaves and you get a chance to go make things happen. So it could be very possible. It could be that. I have to look into it.
Go ahead and doubt the Minnesota Vikings PR practice squad. Remember Walt Shear?
Yeah.
They doubted him on the practice squad, and he subsequently went to CBS and blew up and everything.
Right. He did. They have a deep bench.
Right.
It's a group that typically. Well, I mean, heck, Kelly Klein was an intern, and now she's like the number 2 or 3 person in the Broncos front office.
Well, Todd Downing.
Yeah.
I mean This PR practice squad's unbelievable.
Ryan Monens, I think, came through there, too.
Todd Downing whatever Mike Tice picked up Mike Tice from the airport.
Yeah.
And he was a PR assistant. They're talking philosophy of offense on the drive from Lindbergh Terminal to Winter Park. And he ends up becoming offensive quality control guy, eventually offensive coordinator for the Raiders. Yeah. Got current passing game coordinator or quarterbacks coach for the Patriots. We'll see him in a couple of weeks. Worked with Stafford, with the Lions, worked with Rodgers, with the Jets.
Yep.
All that from the PR practice squad.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see those things, or Grant Udinski gets hired to basically be the kind of lieutenant for Kevin O'Connell. I'm going to keep your schedule in control and all this kind of stuff. And they say, hey, wait a minute, this guy actually knows football. And he's the 29-year-old offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So
I forgot about Kelly Klein.
Talent comes from all sorts of places in the Vikings building, apparently.
Yeah, no doubt, including ideas to provide scribes with. So where's this tarp? Is it by the stands?
Yeah, it's kind of in that.
Why don't you just sit on the perch with me?
Well, I there's some days where the perch is occupied by other people using it for TV things or whatever here and there, but this tarp I'm talking about is kind of between the VIP sections where they've got all these corporate people, and they had a kind of a platform there in the past, but it didn't have any covering. So now we have some shade. We're not having to, because it used to be that you'd sit in the end zone and there was like the bleachers would have a half strip of that sidewalk covered. Yeah. So you could sit in that shade and just kind of sit against that side of the brick kind of wall below the bleachers there, but now we've got a little better setup, so that's been a game changer.
So what outside of Dallas Turner, with the pads going on yesterday, it's rubber meet the road Monday for training camps around the country and across the Great Divide, specifically with offensive and defensive linemen. Yep. So I mean, we heard we heard Ryan Kelly talk earlier, and you've heard it a million times probably in a different way, but he's talking about Donovan Jackson.
Yep.
And he's like, when this happens, it gets physical, and he didn't say it this way, but it's kind of the rubber meets the road. And so it's physical, and he's really, really good at that, really comfortable with that. But what are you doing on this play when the tackle does this? Yeah. What are you doing on this play when the right guard does this? And he went through like a layering of context. I'm like, bro, I haven't met you yet. You're my man. Yeah. You started at the baseline. You gave us the context that off which we can play in the preseason or early in the season. And what'd you see with the pads on yesterday and like Jackson and the trenches and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you saw some of that interior rush get home. I think on a number of different combinations with the offensive line. But when you have guys like Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave that have played at this level as much as they have, what Ryan Kelly is saying is relevant because there is a lot more to it than just kind of knocking somebody's block off. I mean, that was the thing when Ed Ingram came in too, where he was really good at just blowing somebody up and being able to, get to the linebacker occasionally and knock him into the secondary. But it's a matter of being able to, not just play with aggression all the time, being able to understand where things are coming from, where combos are coming from, what your responsibility is, when you need to work up to the second level, when you need to stay home. A lot of those things take time to learn and take time to kind of connect with your teammates on. And if Ryan Kelly is saying that to members of the assembled media, you can bet he's saying it to Donovan Jackson quite a bit as well. And that is going to be something they have to get work, because I think they want Donovan Jackson to be the left guard. And if that's going to be the way they go, they're going to need to make sure that he's working well with Kelly, working well with Christian Darrisaw, working well with Will Fries. I mean, all of those pieces in his immediate vicinity, he's going to have to play all of those things well. So I would say it's fair to assume that Ryan Kelly is also taking him aside, telling him these same things that he's saying to reporters about him.
Yes, sir.
I haven't listened to everything Ryan Kelly has said about everything since he joined the Vikings, but we talk about Donovan Jackson's learning curve and then J.J. McCarthy, massive part of this offense, obviously. Where in your head, where does Ryan Kelly fit into all of that, where he's catching up to the scheme? He's going to become kind of the field general with the Minnesota Moving Company, but he's going to play a big part in the development of J.J. McCarthy as well. Like, Ryan Kelly, where does he play into all of that?
And FICA Fairness and Chris Carter Act. I shared this yesterday. Friday, I was at practice.
Yeah.
Chris was there, and we chatted on the perch a little bit. And little did I know, Ryan Kelly's one of his favorite players in the NFL over the last 10 years. He's one of the nastiest players that I've seen on film in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and I think the nastiness is part of the reason he's here. And what I mean by that is they very clearly wanted to upgrade the size of the middle of that line. I mean, we'd all seen it. I mean, as much as they liked Garrett Bradbury, as much as I kind of thought the continuity with Garrett Bradbury would help, because he's known the offense, he's known the protections, it's a good fit for J.J. McCarthy from that perspective. They said, no, we want somebody who's got more size and can hold up better against the Kenny Clarks of the world, the Dexter Lawrences of the world.
Yeah.
So Ryan Kelly gets here from that perspective, and that level of edge that he plays with, I think, is something they very much wanted. But you're right, Nardo. He does have to become a big linchpin in this whole thing. He has to know protections. He has to be able to help J.J. McCarthy with it. You're probably not putting all of that on a second-year quarterback, a guy who, for all intents and purposes, is starting his first full season in the NFL. You don't want that player to have to handle everything with changing protections at the line. So Ryan Kelly becomes a very big part of this in terms of communication with the rest of the line, communication with J.J. McCarthy. He's been a guy that's been in the league long enough, has played with enough high-level quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck, that I expect he'll be in good shape to run that show. But he is a really important part of this. I think there's, especially with a younger quarterback, there's no doubt. I mean, you have a center that has this kind of experience. That's going to be important no matter what. And when they wanted to improve the interior of the offensive line as much as they did, they placed a high priority on a guy like that. But the fact that there's a young quarterback, too, I think only amplifies how important he becomes.
I want J.J. McCarthy to run for first downs. Okay, so to say you want your quarterback to run for first downs, that's not the first in the history of radio to say that. I want him to run for 3 first downs a game. I think 3 is a key number, specifically early in the season. And like I never bring this up with Darnold, Cousins, Ponder, Webb, whomever. Yeah. Simply because we so infrequently have new.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, first game of the season, sure. It's going to be problematic at times. Ben Johnson and everything new with the Bears.
Yeah.
Look at all the Lions you want, but new personnel, new players, new surface, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen with their defense. So that's all new. But I mean, there's nothing to get from McCarthy.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and look back at the Raiders game all you want. Big deal. They ain't gonna, they probably wouldn't even do that.
No.
Go ahead and look back at Michigan.
Yeah.
They ain't going to do that.
No.
There's nothing. And I think, assuming he plays in the Texans game, well, maybe I shouldn't assume that. But if he plays in the Texans game, can you get something out of there? Who knows? So, therefore, first 3 games of the season, before the film starts really piling up.
Yep.
I'm thinking Jalen Hurts here. I'm thinking shotgun, Mason or Jones, 2x2, hold it in the belly, get somebody to blow contain, bam, because he's fast.
Yeah.
I mean, he may not be 100 yards fast, but he's 20 yards fast.
Yeah. Enough to get you some yards.
Yeah, 2nd to 6, going to get me 8.
Yep.
And you know better than anybody, man, how spirit breaking that is for a defense when the quarterback doesn't tush push, but runs for the first down. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, because I do see your point. I think there are going to be plays where he can pick up first downs. I think Kevin O'Connell, when he thinks about running quarterbacks, kind of wants that in a certain structure. I just think back to Josh Dobbs. Yep. And when that became kind of option 1, I don't think he was a big fan of that, but if plays break down, or maybe there are plays where this is designed occasionally, but that option to give yourself some running room to extend plays, to scramble for first downs, I think becomes important. I think it's something they want their quarterback to be able to do. They want a guy who delivers the ball on time. I mean, I think that's job one, but you don't necessarily want somebody who's a statue either. Yeah. So I think if he can add that to his game, and certainly has that ability, we've seen it in practices, and I think we saw it a little bit in the preseason last year where he's outside the pocket on a few of those things. I think to the degree that he can play with his feet, it is a helpful thing for him. And if there's plays where it's, hey, things break down, go get yourself a first down so you're not 3rd and 8, you're 1st and 10. I think those things, it just makes everything a little bit easier for him as the quarterback if he can do that every once in a while and make it kind of an easy play for himself.
With some things that we see and or follow on social media, and it could be at Ben Goessling via Twitter, which a lot of it is for me. Is it fair to? It's going to happen. We've talked about this before. There's going to be overreaction to a lot of good and a lot of bad. Yep. So I think, did McCarthy ever practice the other day where he threw 5 picks?
No.
Or
that was video from like a year ago, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. There's been some,
there was a video.
Somebody went bad Schefter account on me.
Yeah, there was
that stuff.
You may have gotten duped.
Really?
Yeah.
Now it's not, Fantasy Fest down in the Keys level duped, but it was. But there was, that video was not particular to this season.
So, how do you handle that with this individual quarterback in position? Because I mean, it's proven. I mean, it's been proven for a little while since the guy got here. You talk about J.J. McCarthy on the radio. Mm-hmm. You put him on your TV channel. Mm-hmm. You write about him, and a lot of people are making money, especially if you do it consistently.
Yep.
So you got to keep that in mind because we're company guys, but he also is the quarterback for a team that a lot of people in the state care about. Mm-hmm. So how do you handle that with social media or how you think about it?
That's a good question because you're right. There is a lot of intrigue in him, and you see a lot of people on social media.
That's all anybody ever asked me about in public.
Yep, and that was a lot of the discussion with Darnold last year, too, of are they going to keep him? There was so much of an intrigue to see JJ and have JJ be the guy that it is very easy to play to that instinct and say, this is what people want to hear about. I can make a name for myself by talking about J.J. McCarthy all the time and talking about it in a certain tone. You know that stuff is gonna get traction. So for me, I think that is a good. There's kind of hopefully doing this. Heading in my 14th year. Hopefully, you kind of have the voice in the back of your head saying, "Yeah, you can do that," but it's also that makes it more important to say, "Should I do this?"
Yeah,
because. It's so, I just think I used to do this a lot more where you'd keep training camp stats and all this kind of stuff. And there's so much stuff that you can put out there and it has the appearance, it has kind of the sheen of this is official, this is some type of detailed insight into this player, but you don't know everything that the player is being asked to do. You don't know the situations that they're being put in all of the time. And I've just seen it enough where guys look great or guys don't look so good, and then you get to the real thing, and all of a sudden everything's fine. The number of years where we would, kind of panic about something in training camp, and then they get to the regular season. No, everything's okay. You do have to keep that in mind. So I think the fact that it is something that people want to hear about. My typical approach has been probably to run the other way a little bit. That we're just going to turn the temperature down, and if I say something. I'm saying it with, I hope, some years of institutional knowledge that people say, well, okay, if Ben is going here, it's probably worth paying attention to. But I tend to take that seriously because if you do that too much, then you kind of become the boy who cries wolf or the boy who cries hype. Yes.
Yeah, grandstanding.
Yes. So I think a lot of that becomes, it's there, there's attention on it, and that makes it more important to say, all right, let's keep all of this in some level of perspective.
I have what I think is a contextual example of what you said about training camp stats. Okay. Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
You familiar with what he did yesterday? Okay, I'll catch you.
Yeah,
it's okay. You got a lot going
a couple
on.
Little things. I mean, see more with Dion, I guess, but
yeah, when we're not in pads,
yep.
Okay, and we're 7-on-7 or we're organized team activities or we're mini camp.
Yeah,
I don't care if they go 16 for 16 with 19 touchdowns. No. When they go into pads, those numbers matter. Okay, do they matter 10 of 10? No, but they matter
more than OTAs.
Thank you. So like. Sanders had been milling about, not getting a ton of opportunity. Stefanski gives him a big chance yesterday against, I think, their second and third defense.
Okay.
Goes 9 of 9. And if you watch some of the clips, I mean, they're coming at him.
Yeah.
And he's weaving his way around it and connecting with guys on the run.
Yeah.
So, like, if I read that at Ben Goessling, this rookie quarterback from Colorado, now the 5th-round pick, and his dad, and what he did at Folsom.
Yeah.
None of that. We're in the pros, man. The amateurs are in the rearview mirror.
Right.
If I read that, I'm like, damn. Okay, look at my man. It goes real.
Yeah.
And he steps up. So that's where contextually, when I see something like that, then I would look at it and be like, wow, okay, that matters.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that's why, at least as I think about it, you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of if you say something, it is going to get some traction, and it means that you have to put some perspective and put some context into things. Because yes, somebody puts up big numbers, great. Some of those, like you'll see a highlight yesterday. Sam Howell hit a long throw, and it was on a play where. And I think the clips you've seen from fans, somebody yells, "That's a sack," and it was a play. Dallas Turner gets home, and
a fan did.
I think you can hear it. I think you can hear that. Wow. I think that's where it came from.
Burstage flew back to Chicago. Anyway,
but Turner. I mean, what you don't see in that video is Turner at the back of that play. The offense is celebrating, and Turner's kind of giving him like the go on and talk. Kind of that hand motion of I got him. So my point is, if you're going to sit there and count stats and say, hey, he hit a 50-yard touchdown. Like, well, in real life, that play is probably not accurate. It's going to be a sack. So,
but if Emily tweets, that is the greatest tweet ever.
Well, I'll say there's
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Cracking the complicated for profit. Yep. I sensed a countenance change, so we had to crack the compliment for the complicated for profit. Go ahead, Norman.
They're driving the heck out of this, though. To that end, what you're talking about is how to handle the things you're seeing. And it's not the Browns in particular. ESPN Cleveland on their X account has a daily QB tracker. Now, part of it, they got like 30 QBs on the team. We know that. But like they actually have the graphic set up. Flacco, 6 of 9. Sanders, 9 of 9, 2 TDs. Gabriel, the Oregon Duck, 8 of 12. Pickett, 0 of 0 because I think he had a hammy or something like that. Yeah. They're doing a daily QB stat tracker at training camp, which again, how do what do you parse out? And people are all over it, living in the comment section. But, just seeing that, what does that tell me? I mean, it sounds like Shedeur had a nice day for himself. There was some red zone. He got a couple of TDs out of it. But what does that tell me if I don't have the context of, I saw a video yesterday of Dallas Turner. That's absolutely 1,000% a sack. But the offense is celebrating this sideline catch that was made. And so who wins that? I'm going for number 15. I think that's Dallas's W right there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. There is just a lot of that stuff that you kind of have to parse through and say, all right. I mean, and have fun with it. Obviously, it's training camp. You can have some fun. You can enjoy the highlights. You can enjoy the fact that football is back. I think I would caution people against reaching, these big overarching conclusions about, boy, look out, this guy's going to be unstoppable this year, because we've seen it a lot where you get to the real thing and things change and people are being schemed and there's a lot more going on than just what you see in a training camp practice.
What does the scribe think of Justin Jefferson's hammy tweak? We'll get into that and more when 9 to noon continues that.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with zero sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero. Is it in you?
Lenovo is built for creators who don't wait for inspiration. They chase it. With inventive tech, built-in AI tools, and seamless performance, Lenovo devices powered by Intel Core Ultra processors are designed to bring your wildest ideas to life faster. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Enjoy flexible financing, rewards on every purchase, and free shipping. And students get special offers when you create an account at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
KFAN.
Yeah, but
9 to noon.
is the go off that last chat we had a little bit, and things that I've either read in Ben's stories or seen on social media, just kind of feeling between the lines here. Is the Minnesota Vikings defense pretty much dominating the 11-on-11 stuff?
They've been pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's always weird to me, where it's people will get hype that, somebody put a double move on somebody and got behind him for 60. Hey, that was beautiful. Cool. Your rookie new starting corner just got beat for a third time on a double move in the last week.
Yep.
And, yeah, that is really cool, isn't it? It's like when one side is dominating the other. It's weird it's weird to observe,
Yep, there are two sides to it, and that's exactly it. I mean, we talk about that Sam Howell play. It's like you could say, hey, nice throw. Guy made a move on the route. The other side of it, you could say, well, Dallas Turner got home for a sack. Yes, there is that thing in practices of saying this looks great always means that there's another side of this. And sometimes it may be that a guy made a good play and he just got beat by somebody who made a better one. And that J.J. McCarthy made a throw yesterday into pretty tight coverage. I think T.J. Hawkinson kind of into that cover two hole, kind of in between the corner and the safety. Excuse me. And Theo Jackson was close to making a play there. And it wasn't that Theo Jackson had bad coverage, it just was that McCarthy put it in the right spot. So there are some of those things as well. But yes, again, the context of all of these things, especially when it's one side of the ball practicing against the other side of the ball, you have to keep all of that in mind. And I think coaches, when they go back through it every day, have to do that too. And I'm sure they are saying, all right, well, we graded this as this particular thing on this play. And then, a different coach has a different grade for a different position player. So you're parsing all of those things and trying to extract what's useful from it. And I think as fans watching it or members of the media watching it, you have to do some of those same things. You don't have all the information that they do, but at least kind of taking that mindset of, hey, this demands a little more analysis and a little more nuance. I think it's generally a good way to go about it.
So what's your read on Jefferson's hamstring?
Well, I would expect they're going to be cautious with it. I mean, O'Connell talks today, I believe, and said Jefferson was going to be reevaluated early this week. So we may get an update today on where things are at. My expectation will be that they're not going to be in any hurry because this is the opposite leg from the one that he had in 23. And I remember last season, just about every practice when they're outside, he would spend a long time getting stretched out just to make sure that his hamstrings were feeling okay. And I think the fact that it's now been both legs is worth keeping in mind. Right. Hamstrings come up. Hamstrings are sort of the great unsolvable mystery of sports medicine. It seems like everybody spends, thousands of dollars on studying these things. I mean, the Packers had all this stuff with Christian Watson, and you see whether it's football, basketball, baseball, track and field. I mean, any sport where you're doing a lot of sprinting, a lot of fast running, you're putting a lot of force on the ground. You have to figure out how hamstrings work and how do you keep them healthy. So this is something that comes up a lot. But the fact that it's now happened in both legs, I would imagine they're going to be cautious with him. And, is it, I think, somebody asked me last week, scale of 1 to 10, how big of a concern is this? This might have been with Barrero and Guardsy last week. I think I said like a 4 in terms of how concerned I am about it. They feel like they caught it pretty early, so I don't know that it's a huge deal. But when he's had a history of these things now, he's had a couple of them, I do think it's worth keeping that in mind. I think the biggest short-term effect is that he misses time to practice with J.J. McCarthy. Mm-hmm. Just that timing, that chemistry of how this works with him, especially when defenses cover him so differently than you see just about any other receiver in the league get covered. They are doing some of those things to Justin Jefferson in practice, and it gives J.J. McCarthy the opportunity to say, all right, how do I process this when Justin Jefferson gets covered this way? What does it mean for everybody else?
Right.
So the fact that those things aren't happening in practice, I do think is noteworthy.
Yeah, that last thing you said about how do they cover him and what comes off of it is rep after rep after rep after rep. And then they do the same thing, the next team, but they show the same thing, but then they do it differently.
Right.
Yeah, that's a very good point there. Lastly, Flores defense used Hitman, Bynum, and Metellus together a bunch last season. Are you seeing are you seeing much 3 safety stuff with Jackson or Jay Ward being the extra guy or what?
There's been a little of that. It's been probably a little more vanilla than that, a little more 2 safety stuff. Probably Metellus playing back a little more. I think a lot of the nickel, they played a lot of base yesterday. A lot of the nickel has been with a third corner more so than the third safety, but I imagine they're going to have some of those packages in there throughout the course of it. Some of it too, I suppose, has been they've kept some of the reps off of Harrison Smith. Just it's training camp 14. He doesn't need quite as many of them.
Right.
So I think some of it's been that too. I think they'll have quite a bit of 3 safety stuff in there. I don't know if they'll do it quite as often. I'm curious to see once we see Isaiah Rodgers, once he gets back on the field, he's had an injury he's been working through, how they kind of do all of those things. Is it more 3 corners? Is it more 3 safeties? Mm-hmm. Probably a little more mix and match. They have a lot more diversity of personnel, I think. But, it hasn't been as much of that as we've seen in the past. I'm curious to see how that plays out when you probably feel a little better about putting Byron Murphy inside because your outside corners are people you're a little more excited about going forward.
Great seeing you, and I'll see you out there today, okay?
Sounds great. Good to see you, too.
Ben Goessling, Star Tribune, StarTribune.com, covers the Minnesota Vikings for Said Scribe, and you can follow him via Twitter at Ben Goessling.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with 0 sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero. Is it in you?
Lenovo is built for creators who don't wait for inspiration. They chase it. With inventive tech, built-in AI tools, and seamless performance, Lenovo devices powered by Intel Core Ultra processors are designed to bring your wildest ideas to life faster. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Enjoy flexible financing, rewards on every purchase, and free shipping. And students get special offers when you create an account at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
Back after this.
What up, 9 to noon? It's News to Nord, brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. You're feeling the felt all year round. Poker, blackjack, and table games. You're having sips at chips, the whole thing. That card room is so much fun. The people that work there are awesome, too, which helps make it even more fun. But that's one side of things. You got live racing on the other side of things, and that's fast motion right now. CanterburyPark.com for the live racing schedule. Get Dave's faves, win a pick 5. And walk out of the park with a couple of bucks in your pocket and some fun, courtesy of Shakopee.
Shakopee.
We'll start with the Minnesota Twins first. We will get to the on-field portion of things. They beat the Sox last night. It took it was like a 2-hour delay. It felt like.
Wow.
I don't know what it was like down in your neck of the woods. We had like this half-hour stretch where I was completely confident that my neighbor's trees that were doing the limbo were going to end up in my kitchen. The winds were pretty nutty.
At
Rain
what time?
Was 9-ish, 9:30ish.
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere in that area. Naturally, of course, as soon as you try to get the kids to bed is when the severe weather comes. Perfect timing there. But they had to
I'm
put
sure the dog was great.
Archie, actually, because I think he's lost his lust for life, man. I love Archie, but I don't think he cares about much these days. He's been beaten down by the kids.
Yeah, well, when you add the third, baby Hannah.
Oh, yeah, he's terrified of her.
Well, yeah, but there's also less attention for Archie.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's like, all right, we got these now. And we got all this, and then now we got this.
I mean, I still finished.
Does anybody love me?
No, I still finished last in the house, but Archie's not far ahead of me. There's no doubt about that. The Twins
trying. You know what? There are times the last go first. So you're in a fine place, young man.
I'll be just fine. The Twins win last night with a couple of runs in the bottom of the ninth. It was tied 3-3 into the delay. They come back, restart things after 11 o'clock last night. Duran makes things interesting. He gives up a run in the top of the 9, but it was Brooks Lee with a clutch single, 2 runs, Castro and Gasper, and the Twins win 5-4. On the other side, the off-the-field portion of things, it was announced yesterday, Chris Paddock and Randy Dobnak are now officially members of the Twins. A trade was consummated yesterday where Paddock...
Oh, wow.
Now a member of the Tigers, if I said that incorrectly. Chris Paddock, Randy Dobnak... Let's restart this. They're headed to the Tigers in exchange for a catching prospect. I believe his name is Enrique Jimenez. He's in rookie ball. He'll be years away from entering the major leagues, even if he gets to that point. Teams light on catching prospects. They get one in Mr. Jimenez. But for a team that has been struggling with the concept of, are we in it? Are we out? Can we stay healthy? Can our big timers perform? That question, at least as of now, as of yesterday, was kind of answered. As they're 4 games below 500, they make a move that sends a guy they've been relying on for starting innings in Chris Paddock. You got Uber driver guy kind of bouncing back and forth between St. Paul. But part of this may have been a money thing, PA. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of $4-ish million they're actually going to save. Dobnak, they owed him a fair amount. Now that's on the Tigers' balance sheet. So we'll see where they go from here, of course, with the trade deadline just a couple days away. But the Twins make a move, and it was not to improve their current situation, but maybe to alleviate some money from the books.
Well, and this is with all due respect, Twins fans, employees, media relations members, and everything. There's once a week that a Twin does something I've never heard of, and it was a pitcher last week. Well, now it's something called Kiersey Jr. Okay, I have no idea who this person is. I think his first name is Deshaun. He's only hitting 120.
Yeah,
but he had a couple of hits, couple of RBI. Might have hit a home run. He
did hit a home run.
Yeah, he scored a run. Deshaun Kiersey Jr., center and right fielder. So maybe the future's so bright, Nordo needs to wear shades, like with these players. Who are doing some things, and like I've heard of Cody Clemens, I've heard of Brooks Lee,
like Harrison Bader and such, and all.
Yeah,
those
but
guys.
I'm talking the newbies,
which we're getting to the dog days of summer where you're going to start seeing. And I think Kiersey, let's call it like 15, 25. I mean, he's been kind of that spot player at times, maybe
what
more
about
than
Topa?
that. Topa's been regularly in the mix. I mean, spotty, but he's been part of it. Part of that.
He's pitched in 38 games, like you said. Yeah.
The Travis Adams cat. I don't know how many games
Adams.
he's played in.
I didn't mean Topa, I meant Adams. The one you mentioned yesterday.
Oh, they just got, he was just left.
Yeah.
They're just like, look,
Yeah,
you can deal with this Travis Adams, and just got absolutely rocked. But no, they're in that stage. We're gonna start hearing probably a fair number of names sooner than later of guys we're going, he's on the team. He plays in the major leagues. Okay, well, and that's where the Twins are at this point. We'll see if any other moves. There was some. And it was, Harrison Bader was conspicuously missing from the lineup yesterday. So then, therefore, some were speculating, and maybe it's accurate, that some teams were kind of looking for his bat.
Yeah.
So maybe he's a deadline option, and no Joe Ryan movement-related news, no Buxton-related news. But this first one comes down. One of the pitchers out of the mix, and Chris Paddock, he's headed to Motown.
Well, if the New York Yankees are going to... I'm not up to speed with Garrett Cole and how long he's out, or pitchers A, B, and C or whatever. So don't at me, all right? But I can't believe the New York Yankees would not call the Minnesota Twins and ask about Joe Ryan. And if they do, you can be in a wonderful, wonderful bargaining position with a team that doesn't care how much it spends. Yearly has a wonderful farm system. Why? Because they generally outspend everybody on the resources to have an unbelievably good farm system.
Yeah.
So it's, would they be playing the game right now? Management, ownership, 4.5, 5.5 from the wild card, chip, chair, and chance. Okay. The chip, chair, and chance. I'm never going to just push it off to the side and pretend like it doesn't exist, because if you do that, then that means the majority of your favorite teams, then just why do you watch? Right. Why do you follow if you don't think there's a chip, chair, and a chance, even to the middling type teams?
Yeah, if they're never in the driver's seat of a division, if they're never constantly in playoff positioning, then why do you even turn the TV on? Mm-hmm. So there's got to be a little bit of hope associated with that.
Right. So when's the trade deadline? Tomorrow?
2 days. It's Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought for sure he'd be traded.
Joe Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason we don't.
Something I'm missing here?
I don't think you're missing anything. I think what would it require to?
That's what I said. Is there's no way the Yankees. I'm just using them, because I think it would help them. The pitchers they're rolling out now. They got Max Fried going today. He's probably their most accomplished pitcher. They got a bunch of no-namers pitching every other day, and when they don't hit, they're losing.
Yeah.
So the Blue Jays have run away from the Yankees in the American League East. Nobody runs away from the Yankees in the American League East consistently. So they would seem like a team that, without Garrett Cole, some of these pitchers, this Will Warren thing they have is terrible, that I'm just surprised, and maybe it'll happen before Thursday, them or somebody is just like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you want? What do you need? We will give it to you.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But again, getting back to that, I think it's more difficult because you'd have to consider just how valuable Joe is to this pitching staff right now in totality moving forward. I think they have 2 more years of arbitration team control of him.
Yeah,
and
I understand.
And he is, at this point, he's been, when healthy, it seems like, especially, Pablo had that terrific stretch, and now he's just been kind of fighting his way back.
Yeah.
This is a guy that they can plug in.
I understand.
Continue to control. So what are the Yankees for that chip, chair, and chance, or that extra edge? What is Falvey asking for in return? I bet he's asking for an absolute truckload.
Okay.
And if they can't come to terms on that, then that would be why he's still here.
I agree. And perfectly laid out, because I'd forgotten that part. Joe makes $4 million, right? Or
it was it's $3 million.
Yeah.
Then he'll make 7 or 8. Then he'll make 12 or 13. That's a terrific value.
Well, then if in a situation where the ownership situation is in flux.
Yeah, what a disaster that is.
Well, see, there you go. Right there. You said the word. Okay, so how do I avert a disaster? Okay, my TV situation sucks. Okay, it's the only way to look at it.
And it doesn't seem like it's going to get better anytime soon.
You've got people popping tags and printing Benjamins in all these markets and able to bring these players in, and I'm up there on 1261 in the Comcast Covenant. And we don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Can you sell ads? I have no idea. The situation sucks.
It's bad.
You said disaster.
I think it is.
How do I avert disaster? Because I don't even have a solidified ownership group.
Right.
I bottom out. I got to bottom out here. Oof. And you know what? Yeah, I know I got...
You bottom out with prospects.
If you have Ryan and Pablo Lopez, okay, and let's even put Ober in there. What are you going to get? What's it get you? Exactly.
I have no idea.
But it doesn't get your World Series win.
Well, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Doesn't. Yeah.
So therefore, you have some assets that, you know, when there's turmoil and when there's tragedy and when there are faces on the ground and people are really or teams are having a really rough time with it. That, you know, there's one of two ways to look at it. Oh, you're just, you know, you're going to blow things up, or you're just quitting because things are super bad, or you're capitalizing.
Yeah.
There is a, I didn't say that very well, so let me try it again. There aren't many situations that emerge in life, personally or professionally, where you can completely identify what's happening, whether it's super good or super bad. But those are opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
That you may not see coming. You know, of course, yeah, you know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are opportunities for growth and repair and amends and future that you can't see at the moment when it's really ugly and bad. But they're there. Or you just status quo. Move forward because, you know what? We like this guy. We got him team control.
Yeah.
Pablo's going to be great when he comes back. Yeah, we always love Bailey. I'm just wondering what's it get you.
Well, you know? I would also wonder, though, if I'm making some of those decisions and I'm thinking about how a bottom out decision and how some of this impacts my life.
Yeah. And you see a stop sign.
And I think things get really cloudy and muddy with that, man. And
that's a really good point.
And so that's where the mid lane and the continuing to live,
the whole thing sucks.
In the center of things is tough.
So that's
where the Twins are at.
And where we're going to be is with Dan Miller, play-by-play voice for the Detroit Lions, into the final hour. Chat about those kitties with the box when 9 to noon continues on KFAN.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there are lots of places that also have it, and they might not be as careful as you are. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock US-based restoration specialist will help solve identity theft issues on your behalf, guaranteed or your money back. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You might not be able to control how others handle your personal information, but you can help protect it with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock and use promo code iHeart or go to lifelock.com/iHeart for 40% off. Terms apply.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with zero sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero, is it in you?
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.